Hey guys, today we have one of the most obnoxious yet coolest SUVs on the market, the 2026 Cadillac Escalade V. It has a supercharged V8 which makes 682 horsepower, does 0 to 60 in about 4.4 seconds, and can also carry 7 people. I don't think the Escalade itself needs an introduction. It's a full-size body-on-frame SUV, which is one of my favorite full-size SUVs on the market. We have a multi-link suspension up front, multi-link setup in the back, so despite this being on frame, we have a pretty sophisticated setup. We get Magna-Ride adaptive dampers and air springs on the V model. The V model also has a specifically tuned chassis to handle all that power. We get a 6-piston Brembo front calipers, and it's a brake-by-wire system, which isn't maybe the best brake-by-wire I've ever driven, but gets the job done, and you can slow this beast down. Get 24-inch rims wrapped in Bridgestone Alenza all season, so probably that wouldn't be my first tire choice. Let me know what you guys think about the design of the Escalade. I've always been a fan, and it's my favorite looking body-on-frame SUV. Doesn't really look awkward, looks somewhat elegant, and the V model is one of those, if you know, you know. We have a couple of V badges here and there, quad exhaust tip, but it flies under the radar, which I really like. As you can imagine, it is pretty expensive. It starts at around $170,000 and goes up to $190,000 for the ESV model, because yes, you can get the Escalade V in a long wheelbase variant. What we have here today is a short wheelbase version. For 2025, Cadillac slightly refreshed the Escalade. We got new front fascia, a couple of changes here and there, and basically an all-new interior, which we're gonna take a look at in a second. First, let's pop the hood and look at the monster that sits under the hood. We don't even have to open our own door. The Escalade is gonna do this for us. So it's a 6.2-liter supercharged V8, which makes 682 horsepower, 653 pound-feet of torque. It's one of the most amazing drivetrains to be ever put in an SUV. If you know a little bit about GM, it's an LT4 unit, so the same one that Chevy put in a C7Z06 Corvette, the same one that Cadillac put in the CT5V Blackwing, but here we have a bigger 2.7-liter turbocharger. It's made it to a 10-speed torque-converted unit, which GM co-developed with Ford. Really great tuning, no complaints about it. We have a full-time all-wheel drive system, which by default splits the torque 60-40, so 60% of the power goes to the rear axle, 40% goes up front. When you put it into sport mode or V mode, it's gonna split the torque 70-30 to give you better driving dynamics and help a little bit with rotation. In snow mode, it's gonna lock it at 50-50, so you have the maximum traction possible. We have a V badge on the sound deadening material here, and truly amazing unit, which doesn't even drink gas, it chugs it. During my week with this thing, I've been averaging around 9 miles per gallon in the city. The best on the highway was 17, so that gives us around 14 combined. It is what it is. It's an Escalade V. You don't buy this thing to be eco-friendly or fuel efficient. The front seats are really comfortable. They have lots of adjustments. They're heated, cooled. They have a simple massage mode, which isn't super effective, but can help with fatigue on longer trips. And we have a very massive step in height. Once we put the foot on the brake, the car is gonna try to close the door, but I really want you guys to hear the exhaust because it's truly amazing. Just hear that. This is total insanity. All right, let's put the foot back on the brake and let the Escalade close the door for us. Just like the exterior, the interior wows you at first, and it has that opulent design. We have lots of shiny plastic, which not only attracts dust and is very prone to any fingerprints, but it's also pretty shiny, so there's a lot of reflection, especially if you have a sunroof open. We have a total of 5 displays up front because yeah, we all need displays. So right in front of us, we have a fairly customizable gauge cluster. We can see our speed and tachometer. We can switch it to the maps view, to a full screen map. Our next option is going to be the driver assistance view. Nothing crazy, kind of minimized view. We have a night vision system with a camera up front, which will detect pedestrians, animals, So pretty useful if you drive on dark roads. And we also have an AR camera, which will, for example, display directions from your navigation system. When you have one enabled, I'm gonna put it into gauge mode, our trip computer, and the infotainment system, which is based on Android Automotive. I, generally speaking, like this unit. Pretty logical layout. We can either use this wheel to control it, or it's also a touchscreen, but with its far placement, it's kind of hard to operate it while driving. We do have a wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This is not an EV, so GM gave us an option to connect our phone and use a smart projection. And we also have a passenger display, which I questioned so many times. I've been in cars with many people and no one yet has found it to be useful. With the facelift, we lost a lot of physical controls, so basically all the crucial car functions are controlled via this display here, and it's not the best approach. It's really not that accurate when it comes to choosing options and has a lot of menus. It takes you some time to figure out what's where, how to even do simple things like pull out your camera system. You have to click through multiple menus. To use your seat controls, you have to tap here. It's not ideal and also not the safest solution. As you expect from an Escalade, we have plenty of storage. USB port here, wireless charger, some nook here. We have a space under the armrest that is heated and cooled, 2 USB ports, and to give you a clean design, Cadillac decided not to put a handle for a glove box. So for you to open it, you have to click on it here in the infotainment screen. Just silly thing that I, to this day, don't understand. Everything is very nice to the touch, lots of leather everywhere, and pretty good build quality besides this door panel, which likes to squeak sometimes. All right, let's take a look at the second row, see what it's like to be in there, because we have the executive seating package with 2 captain's chairs that are fully operated. We can slide the seat back and forward. We have another dedicated screen where we can control our climate control and some other things. We also have massage here in the second row. So if you wanna carry your kids or passengers in full luxury, you can. And we also have tables. Let's see if I can get this out. You can work on your laptop, read your book, do whatever you want when you travel in the back of this 682 horsepower beast. We also have, well, get back in place. There we go. We also have 2 wireless chargers, more USB-C ports, cup holders, dedicated infotainment system with YouTube, Hulu, Disney. You can also plug in your HDMI device. So if you wanna hook up your PS5, you can do that. You can adjust some of the settings here. Pretty good practicality out here too. Lots of storage underneath this console. And the last thing, the passenger area. Let's look at the third row, see if I can figure out how to easily access it. Is this gonna work? Well, it's already electronically controlled. Well, maybe I have to just pull on this here. Well, I was hoping it would move manually, but doesn't seem to do that. So we're not off to a great start. It's gonna be a challenge. There might be an easier way, but it's not easy to find it. Lots of space in the third row as well. We have additional USB-C charging ports, and look how massive this is. Last night I went to IKEA to pick up some furniture for my sister, and we parked right next to a Fiat 500. Those cars looked ridiculous next to each other, and it looked like the 500 can easily fit inside the Escalade. Not the most friendly way to get in and out. All right, let's close the door. In typical Escalade fashion, we can either open the window to easily access our trunk, or obviously we can use a power-operated liftgate to do this for us. V8 rumble is just amazing. We got some storage here, subwoofer for our AKG sound system, which is pretty bass heavy. You have to mess with an equalizer to get most out of it. I would argue it's not at the level of Bowers & Wilkins in BMW or Volvo, or even Burmester that Porsche or Mercedes use. Gets the job done, but it needs some tweaking. Also massive cargo area with the third row down. And if you need more, you still have the Escalade ESV. You have a household power outlet, which is always a great thing to see. And lots of cargo space. All right, close our window. Let's rev it real quick one more time. We have the active exhaust open. Truly amazing. Alrighty. Let's start heading to our favorite back road, where we're gonna see what this thing is capable of. So I think there's only one right way to start this review, by simply launching this thing. So let's slow down here. We have a straight road ahead of us. We already have it in the most aggressive V mode. We're gonna put our left foot on the brake, right all the way down. Traction control lights blinking, and that's pure insanity. According to the computer on board, 0 to 60 took 3.9 seconds. You do have to take it with a grain of salt, but this thing is insanely fast, and the sensation that you get when you launch it is simply out of this world. The whole nose lifts up, you get pushed in the seat, and the sound of the exhaust is amazing. Whoever tuned this exhaust deserves a Nobel Prize, because it's truly amazing. It's insanely loud. We have a lot of burbles. The car backfires on the upshifts, and it just gives you joy that many cars these days don't give you. The powertrain calibration is also simply fantastic. The V8 has an amazing tuning. The throttle is very touchy at first, so the car really wants to take off when even you give it like 10% of power. But then once it starts revving, it's super smooth. The supercharger gives you that extra boost, and you have plenty of torque. I mean, truly amazing motor, and this is the last generations of cars like that. I'll be completely honest, I highly doubt that there's going to be a next generation Escalade V. They did it for this gen because they still could. The management allowed that, the EPA regulations allowed that, but this thing is gonna become a classic in the future. Mark my words. Now, when it comes to other powertrain components, we have a 10-speed automatic transmission on board. I put it in manual mode. Let's see how it behaves, and enjoy the symphony of that V8 at the same time. Super quick to respond. I really like the dual personality that it offers. In normal driving, it's ultra smooth and comfortable, but when you put it in V mode, it becomes really aggressive with shifts, and it's super quick to respond. Also, the engine responsiveness is just amazing. There is not a single thing that I would change in this drivetrain. Maybe besides fuel economy, but who cares? During my week, I've been averaging around 11 miles per gallon, and I don't even want to know how much money I spend on gas. But I did it with pure enjoyment, and I was talking to my friend and saying, with every burble that comes from the exhaust, you burn $1. Now, when it comes to handling, you cannot have crazy expectations from a full-size body-on-frame SUV. I will say though, we do have a decent amount of mechanical grip. That's one characteristic of this generation Escalade. Obviously, it's scary to push it, I'm not gonna lie. Thankfully, the traction and stability control are on the safer side. They engage pretty quickly, and that's a good thing, because I am genuinely worried that I would flip this thing. The steering also, for the first few degrees, nothing happens. It's far from being precise, but that V8 sound just compensates everything. You're not buying an Escalade V to toss it in corners. You don't buy any SUV to toss it in corners. You get this thing purely for that engine, and it is a masterpiece. I got safe understeer there, and I could already tell that the traction and stability control kicked in to save me, and that is a very, very good thing. even after putting it into V mode, the all-wheel drive system adjusts its torque distribution to give you a little bit more on the rear axle, but it's almost impossible to get this thing to rotate. Now, when it comes to the brake-by-wire system, it's okay. It works much better in V mode. In regular Tour or Comfort mode, it's very soft and you really have to use a lot of braking power to slow this beast down. It does a little better after putting it in V mode, and you have confidence in slowing this beast down. I'll be honest, I don't hate how it handles. You can obviously feel the 6,300 pounds of weight, but on a smooth pavement, it does pretty well. Now, what really matters to you is how the Escalade drives on a daily basis. So let's put it into Tour mode. The ground clearance will increase. We can disable the manual mode. So it's an Escalade. It's been one of my favorite body-on-frame SUVs because of the levels of comfort and isolation that it offers. What I really like about the V, which is surprising, is after putting it into Tour mode, it kind of switches its personality to a regular daily. You don't get really provoked to drive it that fast. The exhaust quiets down and it's a fantastic cruiser. It is hard to drive it around city with its dimensions. The turning radius isn't all that great and you just feel how wide, how long this thing is, but it's also a fantastic daily. You can do 3-digit speeds without any issues. The cabin is very well isolated and many times I caught myself going faster than I'm supposed to because just how quiet it is and because of all of those dimensions of the Escalade V. We also have all of the driver assistance systems that we were expecting from a $170,000 SUV. We have Super Cruise, which means the car is going to drive itself on highways, automatically switch lanes, and it's one of the best self-driving systems. Haven't driven the newest iteration of Tesla, so can't tell about that, but compared to Blue Cruise or other semi-autonomous driving systems, Super Cruise is just amazing. Got plenty of space. I mean, this is a dream car to go on a long road trip even across the country. High levels of comfort, really amazing vehicle, and it contradicts everything that I stand by. If I had never needed a big family SUV that has a little bit of performance in it, I would probably lean towards a Range Rover SV, Alpina XB7, or a Mercedes GLS 63, but there is something about it. There is something about it that its European rivals don't offer, and I'm all for it. Really glad I was able to spend some time with this thing and remind myself just how crazy GM is as a corporation. They can give you completely soulless vehicles like Chevy Cruze, Chevy Trax, or an Equinox, but they can also create this and just make driving experience an unforgettable one. Anyways, that's all I want to say about this thing. I'm gonna have a little bit more fun on my favorite back road. If you guys want to stick around, feel free. If not, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you all later.